In this video, I'm going to talk about how to use if and or functions. I'm also going to talk about nested if, which is if functions within another if function. I use this nested if very often in my job and find it very useful. Before we begin, you can download an Excel file from this link. And this file contains actual sales data for a restaurant in Vancouver, BC, Canada. This Excel file will be used to demonstrate how to use if, or, and nested if functions. Once you have downloaded the file, please open it with your Excel. This data set contains invoice number, table number, whether it's in-store or takeout sales, food name, payment method, and net sales amount. The owner of the restaurant wanted to know how much sales were made through credit cards, cash, and the rest of payment types. The column F contains the payment method information, and the values are cash, debit, Discovery, MasterCard, USD, and Visa. We'd like to create a separate column to group these 6 values into cash, credit cards, and the other types to answer the owner's question. For these, we can use the if function. The if functions follows this particular syntax. It takes 3 arguments. First, logical test, which is a condition. Second, the true value when the condition is true. And the third value when the condition is false. The function looks at this condition first, and if condition is true, then the second value is generated, otherwise the false value. Going back to our example, we wanted to first classify the payment methods into cash and the rest of payment types. For these, you can use if function and type in, just like this, in the formula bar at the top of the Excel. Then you can double click on the right bottom corner to copy formula all the way down. Now you can see that cash appears as cash, but the rest of values are shown as others as we intended in this new column. The next step is to use nested if function to classify Visa, MasterCard, and Discovery to credit card. Nested if function is if functions within another if function. In this syntax, you can see that the third argument, which is the value when the condition is true, has been replaced with another if function. Alternatively, you can replace the second argument, which is the value when the condition is false, with another if function. You can also add if function within another nested if function. So in this syntax, you can use if functions within this particular if function. Going back to the exercise, we can now replace the false value of the original if function with another nested if function, just like this. Then double-click on the right bottom corner to copy formula all the way down. It now shows Visa as credit card, but MasterCard and Discovery are still shown as others. To fix this, we can use OR function. This is the syntax of the OR function. It can take as many arguments as needed. If at least one of the arguments is true, then the OR function gives true, otherwise it renders false. In other words, only if all of the conditions were false, then the OR function would generate false. In our example, we wanted to show credit card if the payment method is either Visa, MasterCard, or Discovery, so we can modify our formula and add OR function here. One more function I'd like to mention here is AND function. The syntax of the AND function is similar to that of the OR function. This AND function only generates true value when all of the conditions you put inside the bracket of the AND function are true. Moving back to our example, we create a new column that shows payment types as credit card, cash, and others as we originally intended. To recap, we first use if function to show payment types as either cash or others. Then we used a nested if function to show Visa as credit card. Finally, we update the formula using OR function to categorize Visa, MasterCard, Discovery, all three of them to credit card. This exercise is a good example of how we would use if, nested if, and OR functions. And I use these functions very often in my job and find them very useful. In the next video, we are going to talk about if-error and count-if functions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.